This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
"6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news, edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. The President says Sri Lanka's university system needs to be restored to prestige and global standings to attract foreign students. The electricity tariff revision will be implemented from the 1st of July, 26% reductions in the first segment of units. Government and semi-government schools reopen today after the GCE O-level examination. Fertilizer prices down by 78%. Heavy rain advisories issued for parts of the island today as well. Cabinet approval granted to review the price of medicinal drugs by 16%. A public finance committee to explore debt restructuring options. In foreign news, Ukraine counter-offensive, Kiev says it has liberated villages in Donetsk region. In sports news, French Open 2023 results, Djokovic beats Casper Ruud to win Paris title and claim 23rd major. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says Sri Lankan universities were regarded as the best universities in the Asian region. He also emphasized that the standards of the Sri Lankan universities were high on the list of Asian universities. He said the standards and reputation of the universities should be restored and improved once again in the country's university system to attract students from overseas. This would also help to improve the development of the country's economy too. The President highlighted the need for fixing issues with the educational system and added that conditions should be put in place so that everyone can complete their education at the appropriate age and move for higher education. The President stressed that he is satisfied with the education received during his era compared to the present day. He said during the past, the United Kingdom was a second choice after the University of Ceylon. President Wickremesinghe made these remarks while addressing the CVCD Excellence Awards held at the Bandaranayake Memorial International Conference Hall in Colombo on Friday. President Ranil Wickremesinghe attended the CVCD Excellence Awards as the chief guest and was welcomed by the chairman of the Committee of Vice-Chancellors and Directors of Sri Lanka CBCD, Senior Professor Sujiva Amarasena, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna. The Met Department has issued advisories for heavy rainfall in 2 provinces and 2 other districts today as well. Accordingly, the prevailing showery conditions are expected to enhance over the southwestern parts of the island, the Met Department added. Heavy showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Gala and Matara districts. Meanwhile, heavy rainfall above 100 millimeters is likely at some places in the aforementioned areas. The general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize the damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during the thunder showers. Cabinet approval has been granted to review the prices of medicinal drugs. Accordingly, the maximum retail price of 60 types of medicinal drugs will be reduced by 16%. Health Minister Kehelio Rambukwella says it will be in effect from the 15th of this month. The Health Ministry had previously given approval to raise the maximum retail prices of medicinal drugs by up to 97% in several cases, considering the depreciation of the rupee against the US dollar. However, as a result of the current economic stabilization program followed by the government and the strengthening of the rupee, the cabinet has approved the slashing of medicinal drug prices. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
Government and semi-government schools will reopen today after the GCE O-level examination. The second phase of the first term commences today. Earlier, schools were closed, marking the end of the first phase of the first term, and also to leave room to conduct the GCE O-level examination from the 29th of May to the 9th of June. Fertilizer prices have been reduced by 78%. This will help the farmers to do their cultivation without a burden. Fertilizers, including urea and other varieties, are reduced due to the appreciation of the rupee and many other favorable factors, the Ministry of Agriculture said. The electricity tariff revision will be implemented from the 1st of July. The reduction of 26% is applied in the first segment of 30 units. The PUCSL says the electricity tariff will be reduced from the 1st of next month. Accordingly, from 1 to 30 units of consumption, a reduction of 26% is applied. From 31 to 60 units, 9% as a reduction will be applied. The chairman of the Committee on Public Finance of Parliament, Dr. Harsha De Silva, says the committee will review the country's financial situation in depth. He said that the COPF is crucial to develop an efficient debt restructuring strategy for the country consistent with the IMF-supported Extended Fund Facility Program. He said steps would be taken soon to conduct an in-depth analysis of government debt dynamics. This requires rigorous data analysis, economic modelling, and consideration of country-specific contexts. De Silva said COPF members would also engage in stakeholder meetings with external and internal creditors to explore various debt restructuring options. He said Parliament has agreed to the IMF program. COPF deals with capital inflows or the movement of money in the country. He said President Ranil Wickremesinghe has expressed his expectations for solid support from the COPF for the debt restructuring process.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Wijesekara says consumers can get fuel from filling stations all over the island without any shortage. The minister said on his Twitter account that enough fuel stocks have been released to all island-wide filling stations so far. Posting the data from island-wide fuel sales to dealerships during the last 10 days, the minister tweeted that the island-wide total purchases of 92 petrol and Lanka Auto Diesel by Say Petco dealerships has normalized and all products are available island-wide. Accordingly, Mr. Wijesekara said that the daily fuel distribution activities are ongoing as usual and there is no shortage of fuel at any filling station in the island.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, as a result of the intensifying rainfall caused by the southeast monsoon, health departments have warned that the dengue situation has the potential to become critical. According to the NDCU, the ongoing inclement weather conditions will only further aggravate the breeding of mosquitoes, hence the worsening of the spread of the outbreak. Notably, since the start of 2023, 33,742 dengue cases have been recorded across the island, with the highest numbers recorded in Colombo, Gampaha and Kalutara in the Western Province, and Batticaloa, Trincomalee in the Eastern Province, and Kanti in the Central Province, with Galle in the Southern Province recording the highest number of cases all around the country. That came to you in Watchlight in World News Headlines. Taiwan sends up fighters as Chinese warplanes cross-straits median line. Egypt toughens visa rules for Sudanese nationals fleeing the war. Ukraine counter-offensive, Kiev says it has liberated villages in Donetsk region. Taiwan's Air Force scrambled into action on Sunday after spotting 10 Chinese warplanes crossing the sensitive median line of the Taiwan Strait, as the island's defense ministry said 4 Chinese warships also carried out combat patrols. This is the second time in less than a week that Taiwan has reported renewed Chinese military activity after 37 Chinese military aircraft on Thursday flew into the island's air defense zone, some of which then flew into the Western Pacific. China, which views democratically governed Taiwan as its own territory, has over the past 3 years regularly flown its air force into the skies near the island, though not into Taiwan's territorial airspace. Egypt has announced a new policy requiring all citizens of neighboring Sudan to obtain visas before crossing the border, as the United States and Saudi Arabia brokered ceasefire took effect in the Sudanese capital Khartoum. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry imposed the new regulations on Saturday, justifying the move as a crackdown on illegal activities including fraud. The decision was a reversal of long-standing exemption for children, women and elderly men. Ukraine says it has liberated 3 villages in the southeast of the country in the first victories of its much-anticipated counter-offensive. Footage on social media showed Ukrainian troops celebrating in the neighboring settlements Blahotand and Neschene in the Donetsk region. Kiev's Deputy Defense Ministry said nearby Makharivka was also taken. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. Taiwan sends up fighters as Chinese warplanes cross straits median line. Egypt toughens visa rules for Sudanese nationals fleeing the war. Ukraine counter-offensive. Kiev says it has liberated villages in Donetsk region. That was World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Vacancies for women from Deshakti Lanka for housemaids in Kuwait, Oman and Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 58 years. Contact number 037 7500 500.
The Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment Manusha Nanayakkara says the Sri Lanka foreign worker remittance were recorded as $480 million in May 2023. With the May figures, the total value of remittances recorded for the year 2023 was recorded as $2.347 billion compared to $1.335 billion received in 2022 during the same period. The minister further said that a further $150 million is required monthly as remittance to reach the pre-crisis levels. He further said that the government is working towards making Sri Lanka a high-skilled export hub.
Vacancies for women from Deshakti Lanka for housekeepers, home cooks, caretakers and home nurses in Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia and Singapore for ages 23 to 57 years. Salaries starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews with foreign agents are now on. Come whether you have a passport or not. Branches, Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Mathura. Contact number 037 500 500.
In tennis news now, Djokovic showed his greatness once again by overcoming a sticky start to win a men's record 23rd Grand Slam title with victory over Norway's Casper Ruud in the French Open final. Djokovic, 36, was far from his best in the initial stages, but his quality in a first-set tie-break laid the platform for a 7-6, 7-1, 6-3, 7-5 victory. The Serb moves into the outright lead of men's majors ahead of Rafael Nadal.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Embassy of Sri Lanka in Brazil participated at the International Food and Culture Bazaar 2023, which was held at the Museu de Arte de Brasilia last week. The event attracted over 3,000 visitors, and the Sri Lankan stall showcased Sri Lankan unique cuisine, products, tourism and culture. Visitors to the Sri Lankan stall tasted the Sri Lankan food and Ceylon tea. Leaflets on Sri Lanka tourism in Portuguese were distributed among the visitors with a view to promote Sri Lanka as an attractive tourist destination for Brazilians and South American tourists. Over 40 embassies from 4 continents participated at the event and showcased their unique and traditional dishes as well as art and craft to the visitors.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth ekata life ekේ change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship ekata menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
The Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment signed a memorandum of understanding recently with South Korea targeting employment for Sri Lankans in the Korean shipbuilding industry. The agreement to establish a training centre aimed at providing skilled workers for Korean shipbuilding jobs was signed under the chairmanship of the Minister of Labour and Foreign Employment, Mr. Manushanane Akkara, between the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment, the Sri Jinaratana Vocational Training Institute attached to the Gangaramaya Temple, and the Korean Clue Life Institute.
Weather report.
The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in the western and Sabaragama provinces and in the Gala and Mathura districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in these areas. Several spells of showers will occur in the northwestern and the central provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the Uva province and in the Ampara and Batikalo districts during the evening or night. Strong winds above 40 to 45 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the western slopes of the central hills, the northern and the north-central provinces, and in the Hambantota, Puttalama and Trincomalee districts. This weather report was issued at 4:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The President says Sri Lanka's university system needs to be restored to prestige and global standings to attract foreign students. The electricity tariff revision will be implemented from the 1st of July, a 26% reduction in the first segment of units. The government and semi-government schools reopened today after the GCE ordinary level examination. Fertilizer prices down by 78%. Heavy rain advisories issued for parts of the island today as well. Cabinet approval granted to review the prices of medicinal drugs by 16%. A public finance committee to explore debt restructuring options. In foreign news, Ukraine counter-offensive, Kiev says it has liberated villages in the Donetsk region. In sports news, French Open 2023 results, Djokovic beats Kasparov to win Paris title and claim 23rd major. That concludes this news broadcast.